Welcome back. Episode, what, Matt? 123?
Yes.
Of the Grouch of the Brainstorm. Yeah, I'm thinking.
right.
I just guessed.
I am not Jill. I'm Mike. That's me. That's Jill.
Hey, guys.
And there's Matt.
What's happening?
And together, we are the Grouch of the Brainstorm. Together, we're the Grouch of the Brainstorm. So, as we always do, we have announcements before we get rolling? Something? Anything?
Don't let me false start on this. I think I had something. Now I don't remember.
Maybe it'll come back to you.
Maybe it wasn't an announcement. I don't remember.
Okay. Well, if you think of it, we've always got.
yeah.
We got the music. Yeah. So we're gonna
I'm
have.
sure there's so many that we miss,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
and just
Yeah.
congratulations to everybody.
Yeah, just happy effing congratulations, people.
Yes.
I mean, seriously.
So, Jill, what have you been up to?
Well, the past couple of days I've been in Ruston in a critical incident peer support training. I'm about to go to the second half of it at the end of the month. Again, working. Today I had an interview for an upper management. We'll see what happens. And, just hanging out with my pigs, my chickens, and my bees, and my Billy. Cat. And
Girl cat.
anyway,
Explains why she was shaved when I got here. No, it's
okay.
It's a long story. It's a long story. You ever seen those Mexican hairless cats?
They creep me out.
They creep me out.
Yeah, they're
too.
called
That's scary.
Mexican hairless or something hairless. Maybe I'm just making that
maybe
up
it's
part
the
of it.
name.
there's a name for them. My friend has one.
There's lots of names, but
I really can't think. I'm like literally, and a lot of you guys don't know this, but a lot of these episodes we do right after work.
yes.
And for a lot of us.
Most of them we do right after
Exactly.
And all the prep work beforehand, never in there was Mexican hairless cat mentioned.
work. It just came up. I don't know, man.
What I'm
Yeah,
trying to say is
it
by the
does
end of
that.
the day, I'm basically in shutdown mode, like brain dead, just running on fumes, haven't eaten dinner, and I'm like basically at almost the point of death.
Yeah.
Well, man, we got 2.1% of our listeners come from Brazil.
Wow.
Excellent. Hey, Brazil.
That's cool.
Explains the picture of the Brazilian hairless I got the other day.
There you go. There you go.
What is that cat called? It's going to drive me
I
crazy.
can Google it, Jill. Remember, I have Google right here
They
at my
are,
fingertips.
They're kind of weird looking.
So, Matt, what have you been up to?
Man, went down to Natchez, played some golf last weekend. And then saw the grandbabies, and that's been it.
Well,
man.
they're precious, by the way.
They are a mess and a half. So, but they're fun, man. We've been stopping to see them a little bit, and saw my dad and them folks down there in Natchez. I had a good time, and
Good.
just
Kiddos go back to school tomorrow.
back to school tomorrow.
It's just crazy.
Matt's kids have their own bus.
Yeah.
They just-
Well, I was trying to tell my son. He said, "I think I'm going to be changing classes this year." I was like, "Nope, you're going to be in the same class all day." We have a feeling the way you performed last year. So, but
all right,
no,
Mexican hairless cats, exactly what it's called.
No, there's another name for those. It's
I'm sorry, Matt.
Ugly.
Go ahead.
Google
yeah.
hairless cat names.
Oh, that's probably not going to be a good idea. Well, I mean, you can't see my screen on.
Oh, yeah, that probably is a bad idea.
Yeah, it's probably not family friendly.
No, it's like
Cal's not here to comment on that with us.
no, there's a name for them. Well, you know what? I'll Google it myself.
Yeah.
And let me do this.
So finish, Matt, while Jill's
Yeah.
Googling herself.
We're rolling to school, man, full blast. Nothing earth shattering, just going along. So
Did you think of it?
It's exactly what I thought it was, a sphinx.
Oh. Sphincter.
No.
Close.
Miss Faye, that's Mikey.
Hey,
Not
so,
me.
so anyway, a sphinx is a let's see, SP Y
SPH.
S P.
Told y'all not to go down
Sphinx
this.
cat. Yes, there it is.
Open this door.
I actually, yeah. That's rough.
They're weird.
Man, can you
looking,
imagine
man.
waking up in the middle of the night and that thing being on the back of your couch?
Oh
and,
man,
Whew.
I'm out.
Yeah, there's also called a Bambino, a Peterbald, Donskoy, Lycoy, Ukrainian Levkoy.
Yeah.
All right, so I feel like
Yeah,
I know so much all of a sudden.
apparently there's a lot of different Mexican hairless cats. And
Dude,
so
You got your Highland cats, which over here is a different
oh
breed.
my God, they really are.
Yeah, they smoke
Yeah.
cigarettes.
Just see it.
Crack.
Well, some of them are born addicted. So,
Yes, they are.
so we got that out of the way. So in my world,
Yes, big news, huh?
well, there's a lot going on in my world. First off, Everest still has not left the hospital. So he may leave next week.
Okay.
It's something delayed the first one, and they put it off a week. And then right before he came home, they delayed it another week. And now it's looking like next Thursday, which a week from tomorrow, but we're recording on a Wednesday. He may go home.
Okay.
So, or here, he may come here. And on another note, I will be moving to Reno, Nevada. I think the first official day there is going to be the 24th of August. What are you looking at, Jill?
Do you have cameras in your glasses?
I do, yes.
Yeah, he got them cool.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, I don't use them.
Okay.
I mean, it'd be cool, like when I was out fishing, but you don't want to get fish all over your glasses. So you,
Yeah, I would mess
or
that
anything else you may
I
be
thought
filming.
I saw a camera and I was like,
There's two cameras, and they take good pictures, and they make like 1.5 minute videos.
okay, sorry, please go ahead.
Hold on. So I'm gonna be moving to Reno, Nevada, starting the 24th is when I officially have to be there. Went out this weekend and scoped out a place. Now fly in and get off the plane, go to the store, meet a couple of people that work there, and then drive around with a list. And I'm used to driving around Dallas or even Shreveport for that matter.
Right.
So this list was sent to me from someone that is familiar with. They just moved there about 3 months ago, and so this is what I went by, kind of thing. And so I got that list, and I did everything on the list in about 25 minutes.
What is this? The things to do in Reno?
That's no.
electric bill.
Places to look to live.
Oh.
And like, so if you really if you want low income, go here. Or if you're on a budget, shouldn't have said low income. If you're on a budget, go look here. Or if you're want more open space, go here. Well, they're all like 10 minutes apart. Like this
All on the strip, huh?
And nothing against it. I don't even know if there's a strip. This is a little tiny town.
Isn't it the littlest biggest
little town in the world.
Okay, I knew it was something like
and
that.
And they have several casinos, probably about, I don't know, but we have more in Shreveport.
Yeah.
So I remember flying in, I was thinking, wow, I'm fixing to see the, kind of like flying into Vegas where you, or flying over Manhattan where you can look out and you can just
all the lights
and I flew in. I was like, there's nothing. So anyway, I stayed one night. I went by the Harley place, picked up a couple of chips for my guys that do true crime all the time, and I went, got a hotel room, spent the night. My flight left out at 6 a.m. the following morning. I was at the airport at 5. So the thing that you go through, not customs, but the security checkpoint
TSA?
was not open. And my flight left on time without me. I did not make it through the security checkpoint in time to get on my flight.
How? This isn't adding up.
I just walked up and said, "Have y'all shut the door yet?" And she's like, "Yes, sir." And I was like, "Can you put me on the next flight?" "Yes, sir." We'll do that. The
You were
next
there
flight
at 5
a.m.
and it left at what time?
6.
That is not the biggest airport.
And it's a little tiny airport. They were even telling me when I turned my rental car in, "Oh, you're gonna love this airport because you're just in there and out of there. They don't." And then I get in, there's like 300 because the service thing didn't open in time. So anyway, I get up there and remember now it's 6 a.m. maybe 6:10 by now, right? The flight left at 6, so probably 6:10. And I said, "Have y'all shut the door?" "Yes, sir." Is there any way I can get on it?" "No, sir." "Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. Well, they get pissed off and you argue with them at the airport, But
Yeah.
So I said, can I get on the next flight? And they were like, sure can. I'll add you to it. And she goes, here's your tickets, and that flight leaves at midnight tonight. I was like, you mean like 18 hours from now? I'm gonna walk around in here for 18. I didn't say nothing. I took my tickets and I went on. I ended up flying Southwest home, having to pay $500 on the spot just to get.
Dang.
And I actually got home an hour later than I would on American, and canceled my flight. Got a couple flight credits, and then all of my stuff is reimbursable, right? So I get the flight back. I get the first flight back. I get everything's reimbursable.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Absolutely.
So I'll get my money back on them, I think. Trying to figure that part out. I just don't know why I thought about that in my head, but I didn't take the second flight out. I guess I paid for it, so I should still get reimbursed. So anyway, long story short, I ended up getting back and, had to go to my apartment complex and just the whole moving process. Now, it's a lot easier on me. People come, they grab my stuff, they pack, they do everything. So all I have to do is hitch a trailer to the back of my truck and load my motorcycle on and take whatever clothes I'm going to need and head to Reno. And I'll live in a hotel for 2 weeks. And then at the end of that 2 weeks, the apartment I'm moving in will be available. And after that apartment obviously becomes available, then I will be able to have my stuff shipped over there, and they'll just bring everything I have in Texas and Dallas over to theirs. So.
Nice.
And then I'll be there for I don't know how long, but
Right.
So what's that mean to people listening? If you're a loyal listener, someone that listens every 2 weeks or every week or every episode, we hope every episode. Hopefully what that means is we're going to record a few extra episodes to put in the bag over this next weekend. And then I'm going to figure out another format for us to do the Grouch and the Brainstorm so that we can still be together and still record, but we're going to be remote, and my only other options is to fly in every 2 weeks and record 2 episodes, but that would require bringing all this equipment with me.
Right.
Through TSA and all that other stuff. And both the things I use are a little bigger than a cell phone, so you got to take them out of the bag. Long story short, we are going to keep the Grouch and the Brainstorm going no matter what. It just may have a whole different format, and stuff happens. Stuff happens, Jill.
It does.
And life happens, and so I hope we don't lose any listeners. Maybe we'll gain some listeners out in Reno.
Yeah.
You never know.
Hey, if you see Lieutenant Dangle,
Huh?
that's my boy right there off of
that a
Reno
Nick? Is that a Nick?
911.
I
yeah.
was like, who?
Boot goofing. Boot
Yeah,
goofing.
my boy Lieutenant Dangle.
So I'm just going to go ahead and put this out there on the air. But if you are in the Reno area and you're a member of AA, okay, how about that? I'll just make it simple. And you hear this podcast, look me up on Instagram and shoot me a message and say, hey, look,
Yeah.
my name is whatever. I go to this meeting. We, stop by, So, because right now I'm going into it just kind of blind.
Yeah.
So, and to be honest with you, it's terrifying. To do this is terrifying. The whole meeting new people, working with new people, the whole thing is just terrifying. But I've done it so many times. I know for a fact it's going to be all right. And Mr. Joe says, one time wherever you go, God's grace is already waiting on you when you get there. So, but I've got to do it one more
That's
time.
better than having a Mexican cat waiting on you.
Or Mexican hairless.
Exactly.
Sphinx.
Sphinx.
The old Sphinx. remember, what's his name? Larry Sphinx, the boxer?
Boxer, yeah.
Was it Larry? Mm-hmm. Larry Sphinx? That wasn't our Larry dressed up as a boxer, was it?
You can
I
never
mean, it
tell
could
that
be.
our Larry. He's
Our
wild.
Larry used to box.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me to know that.
No.
So I was thinking, so today's daily reflection, guys.
Okay.
Okay, I was actually driving over here, and I had a topic, and I was thinking, hey, let's do that. But it's kind of a redundant topic, and the title of today's daily reflection is driven Okay. And I wasn't being driven, I was driving. So it's kind of the same thing for us. But driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity, we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. Okay. And we're going to unpack that just in a second, but that's from page 62 of the AA Big Book. And then the author of this, or not the author of that, but the author of this writing today says, my selfishness was the driving force behind my drinking. I drank to celebrate success, and I drank to drown my sorrows. Kind of sounds like our boy Lee out there in California. Don't that remind you of Lee?
I got a tie-in with that. I just had that same comment this morning talking with a guy. No, not about Lee. Well kind of along those same lines.
I'm gonna finish reading this, but I want you to tell that story. Humility is the answer. Okay, I learned to turn my will and my life over to the care of God. My sponsor tells me that service keeps me sober. Today, I ask myself, have I sought knowledge of God's will for me? Have I done service for my AA group? Okay. So bottom part's just someone talking. This top part, though, driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity, we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. And there's more to that, and I'm going to read that in a sec, but you go ahead with your...
Well, it kind of answered the question, this guy
had. That fast.
So was working with a guy and we've been having a conversation the last couple of days, and something he texted me, he said, I do well. And he just recently relapsed, and he said, I do well. And then, for whatever reason, things are going well. And I would think that would help me in staying clean and sober. But he said, then I relapse while it's going well. And I don't understand that. He goes, I don't have a reason that I can say, oh, this person made me mad, or I lost my job, or those type of things. He said, why do I do that? And that was just a good question. And I kind of know what I told him, but I did want to hear what you guys thought about that, and what your thinking was on that. So,
well, according to the reading, it's because he's selfish. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. My original topic was going to be on opinions, right? So, and all I have on this is an opinion, right?
Yeah, right.
I think sometimes we use the word selfish in AA, and after a while, you just convince yourself you're selfish, I don't know if selfishness is why he keeps this happening. I don't.
I think to be honest with you, I didn't hear anything you said. I spaced out.
Thank you.
What was she still thinking about that Mexican hairless?
Old Spinky or whatever.
Next time these guys come here, I'm going to have a hairless cat.
No. Anyway, but after what he said, selfishness is a defect of character. There's hundreds of them.
Sure.
Yes, I was selfish. I was absolutely selfish, but what almost killed me was self-pity.
Sure.
And I think all of that stems from fear.
I think most of it does stem from fear. What I gather from reading that reading, and I have to go between two devices to do that, but selfishness, self-centered, that we think is the root of our troubles, driven by 100 forms of fear, self-delusion, self-seeking, and self-pity, right? So me,
Yeah.
And then it says we step on the toes of our fellows and they retaliate. So we come home and we've had a bad day and we take it out on everybody, and instead of them sitting there taking it, they come back.
Absolutely.
And then you end up with what? Yeah, Friday evening brawl. Yeah.
That, or being kicked out of the house. Loads of consequences.
And sometimes they hurt us seemingly without provocation. That's in the retaliation part. But we invariably find that at some time in the past, we have made decisions based on self that later placed us in a position to be hurt. Now that, when you finish out the paragraph from today's reading from the Big Book, that makes more sense. You can't space out on me all the time, Jill.
Dude, I'm really struggling.
Sometimes they hurt us seemingly without provocation.
Well, I'm going to tell you what I thought about today, and I kind of been thinking on that today, but at first it sounded real simple, and I think it still is real simple, but I spend a lot of time all day by myself, so I get to think about stuff. But I was thinking about that, and when he texted me that, he said, I don't understand why I do it when things are going good. And I said, because you're an alcoholic. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. But that's the lack of humility to go, I can't handle this. It doesn't matter what it is. No matter what, good, bad, or indifferent, I can't pick up whatever that is that I use because X, Y, Z is going to happen. And that's what he said. He said, everything will start to unravel. I know it will once I picked up. But
for sure,
sure.
And that's just part of their journey.
Yeah.
We've all had our own, different journey, and people, relapse more so than they don't. And so I don't think it's a thing of beating yourself up, but more of a learning experience. And what am I being taught here? What am I not picking up? What, there's something I'm not addressing or I'm not working on. And
all these people here at this meeting, in this room, on these podcasts and these speaker tapes, all of them managed to figure it out. So it couldn't be, don't be unique.
Exactly.
Boy, that uniqueness, there's nobody that has, everybody's got the same problems, basically, right? So you can't be unique. They call it terminally unique.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
But why? And I don't know who the guy is. So, hey.
And he's going to listen to this because I'm going to send it to him and he'll know exactly what we're talking about.
Figure out. I think Randy T, once again, one of my AA heroes, he used to say when somebody would come back, he would always just ask them one simple question. What are you going to do different this time? Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
What are you going to do? Because easy in anything, okay? I don't care what it is. Easy is going to show, okay?
Yeah.
So the easy way to do it is just go, well, hey, I'll go drink and go get another chip.
Absolutely.
Right? But so, and that shows. That just shows. Like this thing, especially tapering off, or how about this? If you're going out every 5 years, okay, a little bit different ball game there. If you're going out every 5 years. And I do know people in AA that about every, I knew one when I first got there, and I think he's still alive, went out every 7 years. Okay. And, he only went out for a day every 7 years. So you got to think about it. In 21 years, he drank 3 days, but he never got that 20-year chip.
Wow.
But if you're going out prior to a year every single time, right? Then there's some discipline in the program that we're just not following. We're just
right.
And knowing that everything's going to come unraveled, or knowing my life, that's great, and knowledge helps. But once again, action. If I know that I go out every 3 months or 6 months or 9 months, what do I need to physically do to keep from that happening? Right?
Absolutely. And even if so much of my early recovery is, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? Everybody seems so happy. I'm not this or I'm not that and blah, 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 And her answer always was, pray about it. And it may be that simple. Hey, God, or whomever or whatever, what am I missing here?
Yeah.
Because clearly something is.
I mean, I like the fact that he's still, he's asking that question. So he obviously has some, I know that he doesn't want to use and continue that, but at the same time, he's still doing it. And I think the fact that he hit me up about that and we were talking about it, it shows his head's headed in the right direction.
Absolutely.
And my thing's more of a positive thing. I think people get with early on, I was very grateful to be around the folks that I was around early on, because no matter what happened, a good day, a bad day, whatever, they went, did you drink today? Phil would ask me that. You didn't drink today? And I'll go, no. He goes, you won the day, man.
You really
and
did.
I went, oh, that's a different way of looking at that. Instead of all this negative crap, I have a chance to fix that other stuff if I don't drink and use. Mm-hmm. And it kind of took a little while. It's like you said, I wasn't the happiest camper in the world to be in there when I got there, and didn't really know how to think or feel, or, it was a lot of junk going on. But when I didn't drink every day, it got better.
It did. And I think a lot of people get impatient,
Yeah.
With that. And newcomers are not known for having the greatest insight and judgment. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's something that we get over time, because this disease, as the big book says, is cunning, baffling, and powerful.
Yeah.
And I think, as a newcomer or someone that keeps trying it over and over again and failing, is that there's just so much to learn, and it takes courage, and it takes dedication. It takes perseverance. It takes a sponsor. I mean, it just, there's so much, and those are a couple of the things, just emotional work on you and learning more about you. And for a lot of people, they're scared to do that.
But see, like I didn't do all that type stuff early on, all the emotional and all that came into the years later.
Yeah.
Like it was more 18 months, 2 years, 3 years. I started going, wait, why is this going on? Because it took me that long to just get out of the routine of just not drinking and using.
Well,
and
to gather the insight, you know what I'm saying? To realize, oh, wow, this is what's really going on.
But I understood that I had made a giant mess of everything.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I would call on the phone, hello, hey, Bobby, what's going on with this? I did that a lot. And then I just sat in a meeting every day and I tried to listen to what those people were saying. And I didn't worry about where the result was, I guess. That was the good thing. I didn't worry about what's the result. I wasn't looking down the road. It was just what's right in front of me now. And I think that's where we're so used to. He was asking about using when things were going good and he should be tickled to death and all that. But we're so used to the highest of highs and the lowest of lows. So even when it's good, it's like, hey man, my life's going good.
Let's
I got
celebrate.
a job.
Yeah.
Let's make this feel even better by XYZ.
Adding this. Well, I mean, at that point, call your sponsor.
Yeah, and the thing is that stuff will pass. The great times are going to pass. The bad times are going to pass. They're going to pass.
Yes, they
so
will.
we have to focus on that middle line and kind of just.
It is all about that balance.
A
you know,
baseline of hey, this is just life.
Yeah, and you
staying
go,
away
hey,
from
things
those
are great,
polar
and I'm happy
opposites.
with that. I don't have to add anything to it. I don't have to make myself happier.
And
you
that's
know?
what's great about, like my recovery now. I don't need to feel any different. I don't want to. Like, I feel just fine.
Right.
Without chemicals or,
Yeah. I mean, of course, there are medications.
Well,
That
some,
help.
and some might be necessary. I get that, but here's the deal. Okay, if you do step one, I'm powerless over alcohol, right? Just that powerless part. It's just not even the life unmanageable. I'm powerless over alcohol. Then you're going to have to realize that you do not have the ability to control whether or not you keep going back out or coming back when good things or bad happen. You're powerless.
Absolutely.
Okay? That's why you have to have another power step in and lend you a hand when it comes to that, right? So there may be a little spiritual stuff there. There may be, but you're not ever going to get sober not getting sober, right? At some point, you've got to, and it's a legitimate question. I think it's probably something a lot of people are going to ask out there over
Sometimes
the
it's
years.
just suck it up, buttercup.
Well, it's taking a leap of faith, and
It's
it's
done, it's
diligence,
done. Yeah.
and it's just like, I'm not going to drink today. I'm not going to drink today, and go into a meeting, calling your spot, doing the things that you need to do, and continue.
I hate seeing people. Maybe that's a strong word.
That is a strong word.
Well, and it's not a person, but
Dislike.
hear me out and see if it's still the right word. I don't like when people come in and they're embarrassed because they got 3 months and they're like, I wasn't even gonna get up and get that chip. Man, you better get your ass up and go get, like, that's a big deal. Like I had a sponsee that didn't want to even, he's like, I said, are you out of your mind? Like, we celebrate that stuff. Like, it's hard enough as it is.
Almost didn't
Go
get
in.
my 60-day chip because I was so furious and so angry, and I hated everything.
That's why, yeah.
And I was like, screw that fucking chip.
Well, and I mean, but we
I did all this for a chip.
but I don't like that sometimes I've had guys act like, oh well, I don't know what they feel the reason is for not doing that, but I'm like, no, you get up and get a chip when it's your time. And I say, you know what, it ain't about you, man. You got 60 days. There's a dude sitting there with 30. He's watched you get that 60. That's almost service work.
Well, and at that point at the time, I didn't know what service work was. I was still too sick and too, I hadn't gotten to that point yet. And people started to, say things like that to me. And I was just like, what? I was thrown off, man.
And I think a lot of it has to do with you need to make sure that you're visiting with your sponsor. Like, so y'all know that, or you two know that I have a sponsee that was notorious about going out, right? I mean, he went out all the time. He got plenty of 30-day chips, right? And he's been sober now. I think he's going on 3 years, right? So we can't necessarily say that. My point was always, hey, what's done is done, right? Yeah. Do you want to be sober? Or you don't want to be sober? If you want to be sober, we can be sober today.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just be sober today.
Yeah.
And then we would get back into the steps and we say, all right, where did we miss last time? Right. And I think me in this particular sponsee narrowed it down to where he was just picking and choosing when he came to meetings.
Yeah.
And he always had a reason for not coming. Well, I'm not going to come today because of I'm not, and so. And the truth is, man, I'll be like, hey, I tell you what, I'll be right here when you get back.
You really need that foundation. And when I say, well, I went to a meeting every day for a year, I did.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that is so important.
It just, yeah. And that just to me screamed step one. With that comment he made. I mean, I'm like, dude, you're a damn alcoholic. Like, it ain't nothing special, Yeah. I mean, you ain't nothing special,
but
bro.
You know what? Our ego and our pride and our brain, our delusional brain tells us all these things that are not the truth. And,
let's face it, alcohol works fast.
Yeah, sure. And it takes what it takes.
Yep.
And I do know that I've tried. I've been like, I didn't 100% try, but I just was like, I can't get sober. You don't understand. I was terminally unique and I had all these cognitive distortions and everything and all these like just screwed up beliefs of everything. And, it took what it took for me. Yeah. Do I wish I would have got it when I was 19 in treatment those first couple of times? Yeah. But that's my journey. It just is.
I hit that humility like immediately at the rehab that I got to, and I'd only been to the one, thank God, knock on wood, all that stuff. But I mean, I hit the door and it was hardcore AA. That my therapist was hardcore, like not gonna pat you on the butt. We're here to get you right. And I remember getting there and just like not even having clothes, and like a homeless dude was like, "Hey, bro, you can have a couple of my shirts." And I was like, "Oh, a homeless dude just gave me 2 of his shirts." Like they found the guy in a dumpster, like they dumped him in a garbage. The truck dumped him, and that's how he wound up at rehab. The driver saw it on camera, saw a leg go by, and was like, "I think I dumped a guy." And it was 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was my boy. And he was in there having a party for one, evidently, and told the police, "You got to get the rest of those people out of there." And they said, "There ain't nobody else in there, bro."
Oh, God.
So my man was walking around, and it crushed his foot. So he just walked around with a jacked up foot. But that guy had more shirts than I did, and that's where that's how I was rolling back then. So.
Again, it's just like, how much pain can you tolerate?
Yeah.
And then sometimes it takes going back out and gathering more and more and more of that till you are beaten down to a point there is no other option.
Yeah, that was my story right there. That was it. It just kept, because I've said this before on the show, and a lot of people. Well, I mean, when you've been sober for I don't know long as I have, right? Sometimes that was ancient history, but it took me 11 years. 11 years to come in and sit down and shut up and do the work and not ever go back out yet, right? It took me 11 years in the rooms. So I was in and out for 11 years. Wow. Now, I wasn't that guy because I didn't go to the same meeting every time I went back. But, it was 11 years. Actually, one counselor over at Brentwood did recognize me. Right, because he was just like, "Why you keep doing this, man? You're wasting some really good drinking time and insurance money. You could be out there right now. Why are you here? That kind of one of the wake up calls. Matter of fact, he said that. I haven't drank since he said that. So, and he passed about 6 months ago, a year ago now. But yeah, I in and out for 11 years. But it got to the point where I just had to get so beat down, I didn't want to live.
Sure.
That makes sense?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think for most of us, that's like, yeah.
Yeah, I got the ass whooping that, I mean, there was nowhere else to go but death.
Yeah.
And I knew it.
Yeah.
I still know it.
So let's go back to that reading. And I don't think I had it on this iPad. I think I had it on this one. So let's see. So the next paragraph in this reading right here, right, says, so our troubles, we think, are basically of our own making. Okay. Well, that's good. No
but
matter.
Do we though?
Well, I mean,
At what point?
But these, when they say we, these are the 100 sober people that wrote the book, right?
Oh,
or helped
okay.
write the book, or the 84 people, or whatever. Everybody's got an opinion on that too. But anyway, so we though think our basically the troubles we have are of our own making. Okay, but that's fine. But knowing that doesn't make them any less shitty, right?
Sure.
Oh, well, I did that to myself. Okay, well, you still got it done to yourself, you know? They arise out of our... So here's where the solution comes, part of this. They arise out of ourselves, and the alcoholic is an extreme example of self-will run riot, though he usually doesn't think so. Well, I would say take the usually out here because he doesn't think so. I haven't met one yet, especially a newbie, you know, because a lot of times they come in and they think, I'm not selfish, I'm not self-centered, you know, I'm not, you know,
I'm a good person.
Yeah, but self-will,
misunderstood.
Self-will drives you nuts, man. It will.
Yeah, it will.
Above everything, we alcoholics must be rid of selfishness. We must, or it will kill us. God makes that possible, and there often seems no way of entirely getting rid of self without his aid. Many of us had moral and philosophical convictions galore, but we could not live up to them even though we would have liked to. Neither could we reduce our self-centeredness much by wishing or trying on our own power. We had to have God's help. So this is one of those things where if y'all have ever seen the movie, oh man, I don't know, Steve Carell plays Noah.
Oh, Evan Almighty.
Is that what it's called?
Maybe with Morgan Freeman.
Have y'all seen? Yeah, Morgan Freeman. And Morgan Freeman walks up to the lady, his wife, I guess it is. I've only seen this one part of it. She's getting food, and he's this old guy that works at the restaurant or something, you know. And I think his role in the movie is God.
Yeah, he's actually like
some kind of angel or something divine. And he said, "Do you think God gives you?" I'm paraphrasing because I don't remember the exact words of the skit, but you know, do you think God basically solves your problem by solving your problem, or does he give you opportunities to solve your problem?
Yeah.
You know, does he think does he make you less selfish by just praying and saying, God, make me less selfish? Or does he put opportunities in your life for you to worry about other people? The minute you walked into AA, he put that opportunity in your life to help other people. And I don't mean help them financially. I don't mean help them to their car. I don't mean help them get a job. But he gave you the ability to sit down and listen to another person. And by doing that, I think it's kind of the foundation of Alcoholics Anonymous, one alcoholic talking to another, right? But that's kind of my point on that. It's you know, he gives us these opportunities to not be selfish. And according to these fellers in this book right here, the whole problem is selfishness, which we'll go back because selfishness, you know, a lot of that, the way we act and the things we do, I can only speak for me. The way I act and the things I do come from fear, right?
Yep.
So you go into work and you start ripping everybody's butt and everybody's mad at you and they get back at you. But the reason you did it was because you were worried you were going to get in trouble for their performance. And that happens every day of the week all over America. You are not unique either, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? So what you have to do is say, hey, why act like that? It's not going to help the situation, and I've got to do something different. And that's where, at that moment, humility steps in, and the me that's doing this doesn't get the result I want, and they don't like me, or they don't do what they're supposed to do, or they call somebody about me, or whatever it is. So at that moment, you can take changes or start making changes to the things you do every day and build those relationships back and get them on your side, and there's no more retaliation. And the worst kind is when you're sitting around, and I've never personally, I don't think, had this, but sitting around thinking about what people could do because you did something. That's a horrible, right? Imagined And that goes in our, in our 4th step under the imagined column, because some things just never will happen and have not happened yet that we seem to think are just going to happen, right? So that's my take on that. So, yeah. You got any words of wisdom there, man?
Well, I mean, yeah, I'm kind of thinking about it, but I do think I agree with you 1,000,000% on the God giving us opportunities to practice the things we're asking for. I don't think you ever. It goes back to getting things easy. It just anything you get easy is never gonna amount to anything. There's no substance there, and I feel like the things that you work for and work at, we were talking about opinions too. I know the work I've done, in the time I've been sober, and I can look back on that. And so I also don't put a lot of opinion into what other people say about XYZ. And that could even be especially other folks. So-and-so's this. I don't do all that stuff. I do know the work, and I think the program, what's been good for me, one of the things is I've done a lot of work, and I can identify areas where, man, I got to work on this. I'm not real good at this, whatever it might be, but I'm pretty honest about it for the most part. And so I know where I stand, for the most part. I'm in a pretty good idea where I stand most of the time. And so but a very freeing thing is just not caring what someone else's opinion of that is, and I've had some wild stuff over the few years, just people saying things that did not at all match up with what was actually going on. And I was able to just let that go instead of taking that on and making it a big thing. I went, their opinion doesn't count. I mean, they don't have a dog in this fight, Exactly. And I kind of know where I'm at on things, and, no, not perfect, but I just quit operating. I don't care what other people think, and that sounds bad maybe, but I just don't.
It's exhausting and it's a waste of time. It really is.
It's that imagined thing kind of, and that's what
it is.
I just don't, man,
well, it's even that is selfish.
So ask yourself, am I doing this out of fear? And if I am, where's that fear coming from?
Yeah, what's the payout?
And what do I need to do different if I don't like the result I got from what I did?
Absolutely. It's almost doing like a mini, 5th step, or 4th step or whatever.
10th step, 4th step, 5th step.
10th step. And just kind of breaking it down what's my payout here? What am I fearful of? What's really going on?
And
why am I threatened? That's what I meant to say. Why do
I
I feel threatened in this situation?
And that's a good feeling when you are able to not feel that threat all the time anymore, and you just kind of go, people do what they do. If something comes up, as things do, then I'll deal with that when it comes up. And, but I'm not going to really give it any thought until something does happen, and just taking it moment by moment and deal by deal. But
I think getting sober, you realize, especially going through the steps and really getting to know your defects of character, what you have wasted so much time on when it comes to your own fears, the worrying, the, maybe the opinions of others. It could be anger, because I know I wasted a lot of time being angry and giving other people the power or just my power. It's shit, that's not worth it. And a lot of the fears that I had, a lot of us, the fear of the unknown or what's going to happen, we can't control that. And learning to let that go.
Where I do get, a lot of folks don't have our program, right? And so I've worked real hard to get to that point where it's it ain't none of my business. I don't care. I like the freedom of not caring. But you get around folks and they start going, well, why would this person say this about me? And I go, who cares? Who cares? And they go, well, that's not, they don't understand the way. And I'm like, who cares? Is it true?
That is,
let it roll.
I literally
you know?
think that many times a day. And it's basically if I'm on Instagram and I'm seeing something, they post something stupid. And all I think is I really just want to type on everything. Who cares?
Yeah. I did see one the other day. I may put it as my, whatever
If you care enough to type.
Well,
Jill,
it's
just saying.
I know. Well, it's nothing that my friends post. It's all these other things
course
about
not. None of
celebrities.
you
And I'm like,
guys.
who gives a fuck?
Speaking of, did you see Lonnie Anderson died?
Who's that?
That's the chick with Burt Reynolds, wasn't it?
No, well, she
Yeah.
played on WKRP in Cincinnati when I was a kid.
Yeah. She wasn't with Burt Reynolds, or was she in a movie with Burt Reynolds?
The blonde.
Yeah. She was blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I just
KRP in Cincinnati.
remember that.
Yeah, I remember it.
What was that guy's name? Johnny Rotten or something?
Yeah, he was. I was like, that's a cool dude, man.
Yeah, he was cool when I was a kid.
That was like the original anchor man.
So he would be a total freaking creep at this age, but he was pretty cool when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, he always had the long hair and the like bell bottoms and didn't give a shit about anything. You know, going back to what you was talking about. Okay, so we have a step for this, right? Mm-hmm. And what we do in AA, and anybody, so you got to remember, some people that aren't familiar with any of this. Like they're just listening to listen. So, but we do have a step, and you know, we have 12 of those steps, and they're not really as weird as people think. They're just steps.
Yeah.
And kind of like little actions we do. But what the step says is we write down 3 columns. Okay, not 4. I'm going by the big book. Okay, we write down 3 columns, and on one column you put I'm resentful at, and then you put why, the cause, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm resentful at Matt, and I'm resentful at Matt, and the call or why, okay? But the first thing you do is put Matt. The second is the cause because he
handsome.
No,
Unbelievably
he stole my girlfriend or boyfriend.
Damn.
Unbelievably handsome.
Whoa, wait.
Like
And
I
then
said.
and so I'm trying to.
Did you say boyfriend?
I'm trying to be
like,
all
what just
inclusive
happened?
here, fellas. So anyway, and the last one is how does it affect me? And it may affect my self-esteem. It may affect just any kind.
Yeah.
Okay? Pocketbook. It may affect me financially, self-esteem, my employment. Could affect me in any way, right? But that's what you do. And you do that for each one of those persons. So I'm resentful at Joe, and because he broke into my truck, and how does that affect me? Trust issues, right? So those are examples.
Affects your pocketbook.
And so you go down the line. Mom, dad, usually the first 2 people on there. So you go down the line though, and then it says, now after you do this, okay, we went back through our lives and nothing counted but thoroughness and honesty. Okay, we went back through what we just did and we looked at it and we considered it. We looked at it and we looked at it carefully with an open mind. The first thing apparent was that the world and its people are often quite wrong. So all we have is 3 columns, and we're looking at it and we're going, these people are wrong. These people are bad, right?
Right.
To conclude that others were wrong was as far as most of us ever got. So we just left 3 columns alone. That's what we did in our head every day. Right? I'm mad at Matt because some took my girlfriend and
my Mexican hairless cat.
And ran off to Canada. So that's as far as we ever got. So the usual outcome, because that's all we ever did, was that people continued to wrong us and we stayed mad.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was the usual outcome because we didn't do anything further than just what went on in our head.
Yeah,
and
we
then,
didn't get real with ourselves.
We did something to them, snubbed them, whatever, and they retaliated. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, okay, it was remorse, and then we were sore at ourselves. Oh, I shouldn't did that. Now I'm mad at me, self-pity. Okay, but the more we fought and tried to have our own way, the worse matters got. And in war, the victor only seemed to win. Our moments in triumph were short-lived. Okay, so I didn't have to even read all that part. Well, basically what it is it says, hey, this is what controls me right here. These 3 columns and this is what controls me. Mm-hmm. Okay, and then the step part, the actual part where we do a little growing, because we're going to go past what we've already done, which is always just identifying the problem. Mm-hmm. Okay, we're going to look at our part in it, and we're going to take the other person out of it completely.
Absolutely.
Okay? So I didn't mention the fact that Matt took my girlfriend and now I have trust issues. I didn't mention the fact that I didn't treat her very well. Okay.
Right.
Or, she hadn't graduated from high school or whatever it was. Right. But I didn't mention none of that. I just, in my head, Matt took my girlfriend. I never looked at, I treated her wrong. I was always very possessive. I wouldn't let her take my car through the car wash because she scratched it 10 years ago. And, everybody's worried about my 1972 Pinto. But we don't look at that part. But when we take it to that next part, then we can start having a little humility, and it doesn't correct the problem. Okay? That doesn't. It shows us where we were wrong, and then we have the rest of the steps to start correcting the problem.
Absolutely. And what I think was so cool about that step and like looking at your part and all these things is that there's normally a common theme. You're doing like this, almost the same thing to everybody.
Yeah.
And that's what I always ask my sponsees. I say, what's trending here?
So I remember doing that list.
Absolutely.
and I'll just share exactly how it was said and done. And I can picture it sitting there now doing step 5. But I had mom and dad, the first 2 on the list, right? And I write them down, and I'm like, we're finna to get into this. This was the part I joined this whole deal for. We're gonna get into everybody that's wronged me, and I remember reading the first 1 or 2. I don't remember if it was dad, mom, whatever it was. And Bobby looked over at me and he said, let me ask you a couple questions real quick. He kind of interrupted me and he said, your parents, what'd they do? They put clothes on your back? I said, yeah. He said, they fed you? I said, yeah. He said, you had electricity? You lived in a house? I said, yeah. He said, they made you go to church? I said, every Sunday, man. Every Sunday they made me go to church.
How rude.
Yeah. And sometimes on Wednesdays. And he said, you play ball and all that stuff they got you and all that? Yeah. And he goes, did you ever think that they were doing the best that they knew how to do? And I said, no. And he said, let's talk about how you were as a son. And I was like, oh, we don't need to get into that part. It's just this part over here. And he said, how old are you? And I said, I'm 38 or 39 at the time. And he said, they were doing the best they could do. They did what they were supposed to do. Get over it. You're 39 years old. And I was like, oh, okay. Those 2 got crossed off real fast.
Well, let me tell you. So if you're, Matt, just like, especially if you're living in a family, and I don't know the financial situation of your family, but if you're living in a family that's barely getting by, okay? I mean, like every $10 counts, you know? So that might be gas back and forth to work for them. Yeah. And they don't share that information because you're a kid and you need to enjoy being a kid. But then all of a sudden you start getting older and you need a cell phone. You need a car. You need car insurance. You need the clothes like your friends have. You need, and I could let you eat more. You go on dates. And so you had a family that was barely getting by, and now there's all this added expense put on your parents. Mm-hmm. And when they can't deliver, they're horrible people.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Parents get it the worst.
I remember my dumb butt. I still to this day, I remember it because it was so foolish. But I remember laying in my mom's living room floor, banging on the floor because of she wouldn't buy me a car because the car insurance was going to be too high. Now, where was she supposed to get this money?
Yeah, right.
In all seriousness, and at that time in my life, I don't know if we were scraping by or not. I just know that it would be an added expense on an already tight budget, and then we get out and we start drinking. And blame it on everybody we can other than ourselves. And who's the first one to blame? Our parents were so bad to us. And
absolutely.
I mean, the truth is, I don't know when you can legally kick a kid out, right? But I was very fortunate they didn't legally just, hey, brother, I tell you what, you can go live in the front yard.
Probably would have found my bottom.
Yeah, I come home at 17 and my mother knew if I wasn't home by midnight, it was going to be a disaster coming in the door.
That's how it was. When I was 16, I'd bring my wife and kids home.
She would deadbolt. She would deadbolt the door, and I had a key to the lock, but she would never deadbolt it unless I was out. That way, I had to wake her up to get in the house.
Oh God!
And man, I'd roll in 3, 4, And I'd be like, you know what? I'm not even knocking on the door, and I just lay in the ditch in the front yard and pass out. It was easier to do that, but that's what I put them through, is like,
Yeah, it was horrid.
And I'm fussing about their behavior,
I had it even better than that, Matt, because my mom and dad really didn't. I never had a curfew.
No.
Now, I will say this. I've been working since I was 15, okay? And so I always, being a kid, usually worked a late shift after school. And even on the weekends, you worked a late shift. So there's a lot of times where I didn't get off to after midnight. So, but I never, my whole teenage life, I don't think I ever had a curfew.
I didn't really have one, but it was more like, it was back before cell phones. So it was more like, hey, what time are you going to be home? I'll be home at 12, and then 6 a.m.
I'm
Sunday
so glad
morning.
cell phones didn't exist back then. Yeah. What are you doing, Michael? I'm at prayer meeting. FaceTime.
Yeah,
I need to see some people praying.
Yeah, we just tend to look at things one sided, and we don't look at our part.
Absolutely. I never once thought about my parents, how it affected them.
Yeah.
Because how could that possibly affect them?
Man, Bobby shut that one down real quick.
And then I would tell them, well, you shouldn't have had kids. Well, you shouldn't have given me life.
I'm here.
And I think
Call it a shithead.
by the time you're that age, they're like, yeah, you're right. We probably shouldn't have.
Be fair.
Little dick. Go.
Mike, we're rethinking it too.
Go get back in your cage.
Right. Yeah. How did they deal with us? I mean,
man.
seriously, hats off to them.
Yeah.
Because I can guarantee you they wanted to kill us multiple times.
And I mean,
they probably questioned, why did we have them?
I was driving over here today. This really happened like maybe hour and a half, 2 hours ago. I was right before I hit the Cross Lake Bridge and headed into Bossier City. And I thought, man, I have told everybody and their brother that I'm moving to Reno, and I haven't told my mom and dad. So and I said, I'll tell the podcast today. It'll come out. And so all my listeners, and I do have some of the associates that I work with who listen to the podcast, and they'll hear it too. But I was like, I probably should have told my mom and dad. My ex-wife texted me about 4 days ago and asked me, is it true you're moving to Reno? So I knew she knew, which, and that, you can't keep a secret in that little tight-knit group that I got. So, and my son may be moving back over here.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He, so his position at work was eliminated about a month ago. And so they give him 90 days to find another position. And so I think he found one over here. And I think that with Everest coming back and
the cousins,
his mom's here and his grandmother and grandfather's both sets are here. And, just a whole lot that is here for him. There's nothing for him in Dallas once I leave. And of course, it's be the first time in probably a long time I have not lived in the same town down the road from my son. And so that's going to be tough. I'm literally just I'm going out there, and I've been on the road now for probably, if you took it total, it would be 10 years. And minus the little year and a half I was back here, I've been out on the road just winging it. I did get a 2-bedroom apartment in Reno specifically so I could have a studio.
Oh, so I thought you'd be like, so I can have you guys over for the weekend.
Of course y'all can come for the weekend. It's 1,800 miles from here, Jim. By the time you get here, the weekend's over.
Oh, well, I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Actually, no, you'd have plenty of time. It's a 3-hour flight. It's not that bad.
That's not bad.
So but I did get a second bedroom that I was going to set up as a studio, so that we can continue the Grouch and the Brainstorm, no matter who the cast is. Right? We're gonna be able to spread this message, and maybe, and I think after we do our, Saturday, if we can get 3 in, that'd be great. That would really help. We got to see what the heat's going to do, right? Today hadn't been unbearable, but sometimes it gets so bad in here in that 1 hour we record.
I think we get rolling midday and can knock them out before
we can
3.
Yeah, there are times like towards the end I'm about to literally jump out of my seat and run
if
away.
we can get in 3 episodes and maybe take a 20-minute break between episodes, get something to drink, eat, use bathroom, stuff like that. And I think after we record the last one, I will probably put a pause on any releases for a month.
Okay.
So what we'll do is we'll record. So we'll have this one and 3 more. So that'll be 4 more weeks. And then I'll probably put a pause on any releases until we have worked out the kinks in our remote broadcast. And once I figure that out, well, we may find out that it was easier doing it that way the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? We might have probably have been come off better just doing it that way the whole time.
Yeah.
So, and we're going
I
to
think
have
most
hopefully
you
more
see
guests.
now are remote. I mean, I don't know how much other, like I do, check out other podcasts that are like us. Most of them are remote. They're done by Zoom or they're done on phones or.
And I just have all this expensive equipment. I really like gadgets.
Yeah, sure.
One thing I am wondering though is, have you seen Happy Gilmore 2?
Not yet.
Oh my!
It's on my,
And I don't plan on it.
No.
Man, what a good movie! That is a solid American movie right there, man. It has got some of the Post Malone's in it. Eminem is in it.
Yeah. A lot of golfers.
John Daly has a big role in it.
As he should.
He's never gotten the credit he should.
He gets out of the cart the other day with a lit cigarette and he's barefoot. He gets out of the cart on some golf course and the caddy's walking up and he's going 126 to the front, 119, blah, 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 blah. And he never even stops moving, just walks up and goes, "Oh, it's probably a pitch of wedge." Hits it right in the middle.
Yeah.
He doesn't care,
Yeah,
Love that guy.
I enjoyed the movie. It was, for a waited 20 years for a sequel, right? And so here we talk about celebrities that passed away, but the lady that played his wife, or the lady that played his when he went to a happy place,
Yeah.
So she dies in the show,
Oh, no.
and if I'm not mistaken, she's recently passed away in real life.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Chubbs passed away.
Chubbs
man
passed
got
away.
hit with the hand.
And so his son is in Happy Gilmore too.
What the hell?
Does he have a wooden hand?
He does.
Hell yeah, he had to.
But you don't get genetically, you don't get a fake limb. Not yet. We haven't got that far on the evolution chain yet.
But still,
So don't be so selfish.
Yeah.
Think about others and figure out what we're doing wrong. So, and then if others retaliate, ask, why did I do something wrong? And if you didn't, then you can go, okay, what can I do to make it different this time? So just a couple of ideas, a couple of things to think about for those out there in the recovery world. So Jill, you got anything else?
I don't.
Matt,
I don't.
no announcements? You didn't never...
I never could think of what I was. I'll think of it as soon as we're off.
What was that? Hank Williams sung it. Mark Chestnut sung it. I'll think of something.
I'll think of something. Mark Chestnut.
Don't know how I'll get you off my mind.
I
That
like
was a
Mark
really
Chestnut.
good
But
song.
give
Oh,
me
yeah.
time and I'll think of something.
Mark Chestnut had a bunch of good ones.
Where will I,
I forgot
go
about that song.
for
I'm
love
gonna download that.
I still
I used
need?
to love that song.
I thought you didn't
that I'm
like
free.
country.
90s
Jill.
country is all I listen
I'll
to.
Mark
think
Chestnut's awesome.
something.
Got a chance to meet him just briefly at a thing. Straight, just as nice a guy. So yeah, nice guy.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, he is cousins with a guy I went to high school with from Beaumont, Texas. But I mean, I hear he's a really friendly guy, and so he also recorded another song that was kind of obscure. It was called, what was the name of that song? Oh gosh, dog it! I'm fixing to Google. Mark, hang on. I know we're about to wrap this up, but I gotta look this up.
He played at the Fairgrounds Field years ago, and I was a little kid. My uncle was the GM of the Captains, and then they would have concerts during the summer, like around the baseball thing.
Remember this?
Oh, yeah, very much so.
That
Oh,
hits.
yeah.
That hits.
That was
song.
a great song. That is.
That's me playing in the background.
Yeah, the steel guitar.
I don't know how I'll get her off my mind.
By drinking.
But give me time.
Still think of something.
How long?
Something.
Think you already thought of something there, Mark.
The selfish
Yeah.
review, Mark.
Except for the part he get, where will I go for love that I still need?
Yeah.
Well,
Now that I'm freed,
yeah.
I'll think of something. I'm sure you will, Mark.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, anyway. Oh, Rolling with the Flow. Have you ever heard that?
Yes.
Talks about how he's a hellraiser when he's a kid, and he just never thought he'd live to be as old as he is. And keep on rolling with the flow.
No.
Never heard it? Oh, man, that's
No, I don't want to hear it.
That is another good chestnut song.
Don't want to hear it.
So, all right, guys. One of the last episodes at Rule 62 Studios in Bossier City, Louisiana. One of the last. We got a few more coming, so stay tuned. And I've been Mike, Rule 62 Studio, Bossier City, Louisiana. And as always, we are the Grouch and the Brainstorm.